So in this last video, we're going to, again, using the same information as before, address part F, which is how many goods must be sold to generate a profit of €30. And we visualized that that quadratic equation was an n shape because of the minus x squared within the function. That implies that unless you're hitting the maximum point, there could always be two values for x. So that maximum point always has one x value, and that's what we found in part B, the 3.58. But otherwise, any profit that tends to cut across the quadratic equation at 2 points means that there could be two values for x. If you think of a break-even point where that n shape crosses the x-axis, you have a profit of 0. Here we want profit of €30. So again, your derived function that we got from part A is as follows. We have a profit equal to €30. So we put that €30 wherever we see pi, and that's at the beginning of the equation. So we have 30 is equal to the remainder of that profit equation. Then we need to tidy things up because we have two whole numbers. We have a 30 and a minus 40, so we can add the two of those together. That 30 goes over to the other side, becomes a minus 30, so we end up with a minus 70. And now we have a profit function that takes into consideration the fact that you've earned a profit of 30. Now, what do we do with that? We don't differentiate it because we're not looking at marginal profit, or we're not looking at a turning point. What we want are two x values, because there are two x values in there that we could potentially have that gives us a profit of €30. How we solve that is what we refer to as your minus b formula. This will be given in the exam in your formula sheet, and we have to identify from that profit equation what figure is representing A, B, and C. And just a note that don't rely on the first figure being A, your second B, and your third one C. In other words, minus 6 being A, 43 being B, and minus 70 being C. Don't rely on it just because the equation is set up that way. Always focus in on what value is associated with the x squared. That's going to be your A. What value is associated with the x? That's going to be your B. And what value is on its own, or the constant? That's going to be your C. Coincidentally, it happens to be that way given the way I've written the profit function. So minus 6 is going to be your A value, your 43 is going to be B, and C is equal to minus 70. And plugging those into the formula, we have it all set up like this, and you just keep on working through it until we get to a point in which we can't do much more. Okay, so you have your minus 43 plus or minus your 13 over minus 12. That plus or minus just means that we need to separate out that function, so we'll have a minus 43 plus 13 over minus 12. And secondly, we'll have a minus 43 minus 13 over your minus 12. And working through those will give you your answers for the values of x, or the output levels that will give us a profit of 30, and that's your 2.5 units and your 4.66 units. And if you notice, the value of 3.58 that we found in part B was the output level that gave you the maximum profit, and that happens to lie in between those two numbers.